Okay, today's topic is gonna be making sure that, well, it's gonna be more about what self belief does for your goals. Um, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, but we'll probably get this done first. So we'll do one set on camera, one set off, just because my legs are dead. They're just gone. I can barely stand. They've been like they've been giving out on me all day. So, yeah, it's just not been fun. So let's get this one in, and then we'll go. Let's see what we're gonna do next. We're gonna probably have to just up it on cable countries because this is ridiculous. Nah. Okay. One more off camera. Alrighty. So let's talk about what we were talking about earlier. Belief in one's self and how that affects, your lifts and just like personally, like how it affects your mental. You guys have heard this before, but I'll say it again. My dad is or I've grown up learning that if you have not tried your best at something, when someone asks you, can you do something? Your first response should not be, oh, I can't do that. Why? Because that innately puts this pattern of thought in your head where you're like in this defeatist mindset. And that might seem extreme in most cases, but in a lot of cases it's going to be something that is going to empower you and sort of like push you in the right direction of thinking, where you'll get small wins and over time you'll develop this idea that you are capable of actually pushing yourself to the limit, pushing yourself past what you think you're capable of. Um, and that's what self-belief does, right? It allows you to think outside of the perspective of just yourself and what you perceive to be what you perceive yourself to be capable of doing, if that makes any sense. So, for instance, my brother, yeah, this is a good example. Think of it like this: if you've ever trained with someone, if you've ever trained with a partner, you kind of get used to how they look when they're about to fail a rep, right? When they're about to fail a weight. And you kind of use your judgment in that sense to spot them when they need help, right? Um, but you also use that judgment to determine whether or not they don't need help, right? When they ask for help and you tell them no, like you got it, right? That kind of thing, it's almost like you're applying that kind of thinking to yourself. Um, and on almost like repeat, because you're constantly putting yourself in scenarios, especially when you have that belief, you're constantly putting yourself in scenarios where you're not quite sure whether or not you're able to do what you're trying to do, right? But you're taking that leap of faith and you're taking the steps that are necessary in order to achieve that goal. And innately, you'll just build this confidence in yourself just because of the little wins that you'll get, even if they are little. The person that's 500 pounds will take any sort of weight loss, because any sort of weight loss is progress. And it has to be that kind of mindset for whatever you're doing. Because you have to remember that everything is an applied skill. Right? Everything requires some form of skill set, whether it's dieting, whether it's exercise, whether it's learning, studying, getting better at anything. It requires you to learn or acquire a new skill. And in order for you to do that, you have to be able to believe that you're able to acquire said skill. right? If you don't believe you can do it, no, there's not really much of a reason for you to even attempt it. I'd argue, because you're already having this. Once you fail, you're not giving yourself, or you're not holding yourself accountable for your discipline, your lack of discipline, or your lack of you know, conviction. You're just kind of saying like, oh well, I knew it, right? And you kind of just disregard the failure as nothing at all, rather than using it as a way to reflect on your behavior and reflect on your discipline and see like, hey, like what can I actually improve on to get better, right? So we'll finish up the topic in a little bit, but we're gonna do like 2 sets of this on camera, and then 1 more set off, because we kind of took it easy on on the leg raises, and then we'll go do some decline sit-ups, and that'll be it for today. I gotta stretch, and I gotta sit in the sauna so I can recover. Okay. A little bit of a break, and 1 more set. Oh, one more thing. One more thing to add on before we go over there. You have to remember that people are going to kind of box you in this perception. You have to remember, like, who the heck do people think they are setting your limits for you? It's ridiculous. I don't understand why people do it. I don't understand why they think it's encouraging in any regard. But you have to remember that, like, the way that you perceive yourself has to be up to you. You cannot let someone else's perception of you affect the way that you act. Your limits and what you think you should be able to accomplish should not be defined by anyone else. You alone know what you're capable of, especially when it comes to something that's down to like pressure and how you perform under pressure. There's no one that's more familiar with that behavior other than yourself. So don't let anyone else define how you're going to act in those moments. Okay. 1 more. Hello? Oh, it's not connected. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty. 1 more off camera, and then we'll go to some decline sit-ups. Okay. So we got 1 set to do here, one set to do off camera, and we'll go and check things out. But let's wrap up the topic. I think the last thing that I really just want to say is I want you guys to use my progress as some form of example. I am where I am because I didn't doubt myself even when I failed, right? And that belief obviously takes time to build, but I would much rather you guys think of yourself in a positive regard than a negative. Your life will be better for it. So I hope you can take what I'm saying and just kind of apply it to yourself. Take what works for you and, just do better. That's all you can do. But let's do this and then we'll go check things out. I'm gonna take off my headphones. There's not really a point in keeping them on. Okay. All good. I shall see you guys over there. Alright, T. This is how we're looking. You guys already know it's a rest day. So, not really much progress, but I hope that this video was at least somewhat helpful to you. If it was, please drop a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.